Hello, thanks for tuning in. I'm Claire at Dark Cribs Creations. So today I'm gonna do the sealing of the glove moulds. So these are my glove moulds which I've previously obviously coated in the silicone from the sculpts. So these get cut open at the back and we need to seal these up. So there's normally one that's going down the back on the hands for easy release of the hands and feet. So I'll be sealing all these on these two moulds before we actually pour the silicone. So what I've done here, I have the Dragon Skin Fast, Dragon Skin 10 Fast should I say, part A and part B. Get them mixed together. You don't need overly too much because obviously you're having to cure them in between. So I'll get them thoroughly mixed right to the bottom and add a bit of pigment in. Just, you don't have to for the seals, but I do just because I like it. So you don't need too much. So I'll get all these mixed in. So all of the sculpting videos and the glove mould videos, they're all up on the channel if you wish to see how I did them. I think, yeah, there is the sculpting videos of, might just be pictures of the sculpting, but there definitely is the glove moulding, how I do the glove moulds. So now that's thoroughly mixed, and the Dragon Skin Fast, obviously the clue is in the name, it is a fast cure. You've probably got about 5 or 10 minutes to work with it. So obviously the seams need to be all as tightly together as you can get them, so that'll eliminate any spillages, any massive seams should I say. Sorry, I've got my son in the background as well that's chunnering away on his YouTube channel. So I tend to just give it a light coat in the first place, just to get it sealed a little bit to start it all off. Fast cure I do. So just to get it started off, that is. So like you see, it does cure pretty fast. So I just literally go down all the seam first to make sure that they're all covered. You have to try not to move it because otherwise the seam may open and then that'll affect, or it could fold over. You could have it where it folds like this, and you don't want that because that's very hard to rectify out of the mould. So I'll just keep building all these up. Right down. Because I did a zigzag seam, well, sort of a brick seam, not much of a zigzag, but because I did that, I obviously have to spread it out more across the back to strengthen it, and obviously to make sure you've gone through all the seams. Hello?
Hello. Yeah,
this is my son.
Oh my god!
Okay, so I'll just fast cure this bit. I spread it out as well on the sides, so it's got more adherence to the glove mould, and can eliminate it seeping out at the sides once you're pouring. It's a bit of a messy job, but essential that it's done. So I'll just get the hairdryer on this a bit. Obviously point the hairdryer away from your tub because it will cure. So obviously some people work a lot different to me. They'll put the Thivex in the dragon skin. That's a thickener. I've worked with that before, and it does take longer to cure, and I'm a bit impatient, so I don't tend to use that. So obviously this is the way I do it. It's just whatever you get used to. Like I always say, just trial and error with a lot of things, and it's what you prefer, what you get used to doing. So yeah, just build all these up. As you can see, it's starting to get quite tacky now. It is a lot easier to work with when it's curing, so this is when you can start building the actual seam up more. So I just like it to be really thick, ensure that nothing can seep out anywhere. And obviously you have the hands. I'll cure this first and then go over the hands. I mean, some people that do the glove moulds might be looking at me and thinking, what are you doing? you don't need that much. Well, I'd rather be safe than sorry, because I have had a good few accidents where the silicone has seeped out of the sides, so I like to make sure that there's plenty on it and it's not going to come out. Right, so I'll get the rest of this done, and I'll come back on camera to show you everything that's done. It's literally the same for the hands and the feet, all the back of, all down the back, the hands and the feet, and so I'll show you when it's all done. Everything's all sealed. I've just started mixing some of the Ecoflex. So I'll just show you that. I've only poured the part B at the minute. So what I've done is I've put a bit of white pigment and some flesh pigment. It all, you know, it's up to you what you put in. So that's all been mixed right round. Make sure you get right to the bottom of the pot. When you put the other part in it, right, so that was annoying. Typical. So with the spillage then, I've had to obviously fill it back up with the B part that I've already poured. So we'll just mix all that back through. As I say as well, when I don't know if I said it before I spilt it, but when you're pouring the A part in, it will obviously go more translucent again, so it's up to you whether you're wanting to put more colour. I don't know where this red has come from. Ugh, the joys. Right, I've got all red pigment all over me from somewhere. Right. I don't know where it's coming from, so we'll find out sooner or later. Okay. So every tub you open, give it a good stir. It does clog up at the bottom, but be careful not to really dislodge a lot of it from the bottom because it is thick and gloopy. So my Ecoflex part A, give that a really good mix up. And then we'll get that into the other part. Okay, so I know that one of my moulds takes 600 ml, I think it is, in here. So obviously I had 300 of the B. So we put the 300 of the A. It might have just been a little bit less than the 600 all in all, but you never know what's going to happen. You might get a little bit of a leakage coming from one of the seams. You just never know. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's all sealed properly, but you never know. So it's always good to do a little bit more as well. So if it does go a bit too translucent, again, once you've added the A, you can always add a little bit more of which other colour you want. So yeah, I think I'll put a bit more flesh tone in that. You don't need too much. Just normally a little lolly stick just on the end, does it? Just obviously get it all from around the side of the pot. And I've ended up with some red there again. I don't know where this red's coming from. But it won't hurt it. So you really do need to give it a really good stir. You don't want the marble effect, or you might do, I don't know. But when you degas it anyway, it'll all join into one, I suppose, if you're doing your degassing. Right. So now I'll put in the degasser. I'll show you what I do. So here we are, put in the degasser now. It's in there. What I forgot to mention, always leave, there should have been probably a little bit more space than that, but leave a space because it does expand upwards. So the air release tap to be on off, and this is the compressor. So we have the oil, making sure there's enough oil in, and then we can turn it on. So you might have to press down on this a few times before it starts going up. And it'll seal it properly then. Make sure that's off, so towards you is off. If you open it, obviously it releases the air from inside the drum. So you can see in there, you'll see bubbles start to come up. And what I do, if it starts looking like it's really going to overflow, I'll just stop the compression for a bit. So you can see it's coming up. So I'll just stop that. Just let a little bit of the air out so that it's not overflowing. You can see the bubbles are still coming out. You can do this as many times. It does take a lot of the bubbles out, and it gives you a lot smoother creation at the end of it. A lot smoother silicone sculpt. Can't think of words, sorry. Mould, casting. Smoother silicone casting. There you go. So you hear me, I just keep opening this little valve a bit so that it doesn't start overflowing, but you can see the bubbles are still all rising to the surface. There's still a lot to get out. So I'll turn the video off now because it can take quite a while, and I'll come back on when I'm pouring the silicone into the mould. Degassed it for probably, I don't know, about 5 minutes or so. So you're not always guaranteed to get every single bubble out, but at least it gets majority of them out. So now we start syringing. Well, I do anyway. Some people pour, I syringe. I've not got one of my bigger syringes, so I'm going to have to do it a lot with this, but I just find it easier. You can pour it, get a funnel, pour it that way, which is probably easier. Little plastic funnel, do it that way. So whilst I'm doing this, I'll put it on a time lapse so I'm not boring you, because it does take a bit. Okay, enjoy. Okay, so now all the silicone is in the mould. I tend to just give it a pat round. You'll see maybe it'll dip a bit from the pouring hole, so then you can just fill it back up with a little bit of silicone. I'm just pressing all the ends of the fingers and toes to make sure there's no bubbles anywhere, and making sure that the silicone goes right through. So I wasn't paying attention to that then, I didn't know it was spilling out. Right, so yeah, I just make sure that it's in all the little crevices then. Now, because this mould is quite thick, and I did it in a seated position, you can go and have a look at the video how I did it. It's all on the channel. Because I did it like this, I don't need a glove mould, because it's a 10-inch mould as well. So I'll just fill that back up, what's been spilt. It's only tiny. So that's all done. And that's that one. So I will do the other one now. And I think I'll put another video up of me taking them out of the mould. I also go live on Facebook as well when they are being born. If you want to join me on the Facebook page, Dark Crib Creations, Dark Cribs Creations, and you'll see them live coming out of the moulds. So thanks again for watching. I hope you've learnt something. And yeah, so like the video if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.